ndikabva panapa ndisina kuva Dr. Mukhanisa Frenyika Mapfumo ndinenge ndisina kuita favor kuvanhu agamba guru reZimbabwe Chimurenga music. Ndinobada kudari rimwe gore ndakananga pabhindura ndichidarika nepamazowe citrus apo nyika yakaita kukangavira pachirohwa farming yakanga yaipa pakati panana Glendale apapa pamaorenji zvino nyika iya yava mamvemve make asi vanhu veZANU-PF kadenga muchadaro kugugula ndokutaura chokwadi ina ndiri kubatana nesipano paChange Radio pa Express ati pamachano dzakasiyana-siyana. ezihloniphayo honorable Pasho njebe ndisitsho ngoba noPasho Sibanda abaningi mazi that's the guy who destroyed the Tulingube bakauthi phaka apa sinazakare mukoma agents kumbo pachitau ndiwanenge vari magesi etu nhasi tichikurukura ndidika takuziva kuti from a law point of view and from the honorable point of view what are we planning, what's the plan for Zimbabwe, and what are the young people planning since we know that the illegitimate Mnangagwa is about to take on in August for Sadc chairpersonship night. My name is DJ Pro, Change Radio.
Asiro kurangure mabara chengetai nekuti ndiri musishi kukumbira kuvatongi kuti vandipegwa isokere pandakabva nekuti ndakasiya vana vangu vese ona ndasuwa mwana wangu wote inini ndasuwa mwana wangu wote ona ndasuwa mwana wangu wote.
Okay. Let me just say welcome to everyone. This is a special dedication to the diasporians, all of them on this space. Mibvunzo yakawanda kune vanhu vakasiyana-siyana varipo panapa masuwa vana venyu makasiya handiti pazimba the situation haisi kubvumira because government yaMnangagwa ine zvairi kuita and kuona vabati vengoma kana kuti varidzi vengoma panapa vakusimudza maoko. Change Radio, you want to say something?
Thank you so much, DJ Pro, for the music. I think we have to start now. Dr. Ranga, are you there? Can we start? I see that our guest is now in, so can we start?
Thank you so much, my brother, Change Radio. Of course, DJ Prof, anoridza dande mutande kusvika zuva ranyora. So, but we have to get moving. We have our guests here. Our guest, Honorable Pasho Swanda, and I haven't seen Honorable Gumbo, but I'm sure he'll be here soon. Welcome everyone to this space. We're going to have another great day today, another great discussion. We have the best people, and the best people are you, Zimbabwean citizens, wherever you are in the world today. This is another special day when we talk about what's going on in our country. I see some notable citizens there. Nicola Watson, hello. Mike Waze, hello. Sister Patricia, hello down there. You can come up and join us at any time. Mambo Shoshe, hello. My sister Olive Rurimbo, hello to you. It's going to be a very good discussion. And as you can see on the title there, we're talking Zimbabwe. Now, when we talk Zimbabwe, we talk Sadc. We talk what's happening in terms of how our institutions are being handled by ZANU-PF and its operatives in our country. But there is no better person to talk about that than our young, vibrant, upcoming, I can say more. Mutuli has a number of names for him. Our special guest, Honorable Pashoswanda. I'll let him just introduce himself or just say hello while everyone gets situated. What I encourage everyone to do in the meanwhile is to retweet this space, share it on your WhatsApp groups, share it on Facebook, share it in Snapchat, wherever you can share. Zimbabweans are everywhere, and this is the place everyone should be tonight. Honorable Swanda, welcome to this program.
Thank you very much. Confirm if you can hear me.
Very loud and clear, my brother.
All right. Greetings to everyone, to all the listeners who are here, and all the honorable members, the councillors, the citizens, from wherever you are. Sanmonani, how is everyone? Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Honorable Swanda. Mambo Shoshe, my sister Olive, my sister Patricia, everyone, let's greet the people on the space and let's get moving. Thank you. Chief Shoshe.
Dr. Ranga, let me welcome everyone, including our young Honorable Pasho. We call him Shumbaya Yamtuli Nguve, Garisa Mtuli Nguve Pasi Kukaudzi Pagu. We want to thank you, Honorable, for agreeing to come to be part of this space. Thank you very much. We'll also be joined by Honorable Agents Gumbo. As you know, he is a lawyer, and we want updates. We want to hear updates to what is happening to our champions, over 76 of them that were illegally arrested by the regime. We want to know how Honorable Senator Timber and others are doing. So you will give us updates onto that, and of course more. But before we get our leaders to speak, we are also going to hear some demo updates, the protest updates, as Dr. Ranga said. If you look at that headline, we're talking about the citizen arrests, and we are also talking about the infamous Sadc summit. I know everyone who is here doesn't want that summit to go on, and as Zimbabweans, as citizens, it is within our rights to tell Sadc that we do not want that summit to happen, especially in Zimbabwe. If they want to do it, they can still do it in Mozambique, they can do it in South Africa, they can do it in Namibia, they can do it anywhere else. But if it is within our rights, we don't want it to happen in Zimbabwe. And everyone will also agree with me that we do not want Emmerson Mnangagwa in particular to become chairperson of Sadc. Hanzi zviriko here izvozvo kuti munhu akapira sarudzo kudaro, a person who rigged an election now becomes the head of Sadc. And the same organization that declared the elections in Zimbabwe not to be free and fair, that election was fraught with irregularities. The same organization, Sadc, is now making Emmerson Mnangagwa become the chairperson of Sadc. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. I know, I understand, because I do speak to some people that are in Sadc or close to Sadc. they said that Sadc was not happy that they wrote such a damning report on the Zimbabwean elections, and the Zimbabwean people did not do much about it. And I agree with that. I agree with that sentiment, because surely we should have done something as Zimbabweans. But they say it's never too late. Now we have other citizens, our pastors, men of the cloth, men and women of the cloth, who have decided to rise up, who have decided to step up, and they have said that we are not going to take this lying. We are not going to allow this to happen. We are going to stand up. We are going to do something during that summit, just to show Sadc that we are not happy about the way things are in Zimbabwe, just to show Sadc that we do not want, as Zimbabweans, the custodians of the nation of Zimbabwe, we do not want Emmerson Mnangagwa to become chairperson of Sadc. How do we do that? We express ourselves through what we are doing right now, speaking out on spaces, on social media. They do listen to these spaces, by the way, these organizations, Sadc, UN, and all the other interested countries. They do listen. So this is one way that we are giving citizens. Change Radio is giving you this platform, this opportunity to express your dismay to what is about to happen in Zimbabwe. But the men and women of cloth have gone a step further, and they are saying we are actually going to express our emotions by getting in the streets in Harare, in Botswana, and I'm sure everywhere where Zimbabweans are, so that we protest, we demonstrate, and we tell the world that it shouldn't happen. Emmerson Mnangagwa cannot be the head of Sadc. It's the biggest insult to the people of Zimbabwe. So that's why we are here, and so we'll get updates as to what has been happening with the demo, how far they've gone, and what do they need or want or expect from the citizens here. So we'll be hearing from the bishops very soon. But of course, let me allow others that are on the platform, Patricia, my sister Olive, and others to come in and say their opening remarks. Over to you, Champion Patricia.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I couldn't find my mic. Good evening to the host on Change Radio and to all our speakers and Mambo Shoshe, and also to Champion Pasho. Thank you so much for coming. And as always, for everybody that always comes and graces these spaces, because it's so important that we can come together as a people to discuss, to get ideas, and I guess in a way, just to those what are they called? Is it online hugs? Just all over the world, because we are in this space where we had hope for the 23rd. And that hope was just almost pulled away from us, just like a rug being pulled from underneath our feet. And so that's a bit of a shock. And I think, we are still in that place. But whilst we're still in that place, we need to keep moving. We need to keep building. We need to come together because who we are dealing with is someone that will never change. It's a regime that's never going to change. And they are so privileged. I think that is what is so annoying, is that the privilege of the abuse of power and imposing themselves on the people of Zimbabwe make them feel that they are so untouchable. And these continued gross human rights violations are just unacceptable. And I think, with Sadc Summit coming up, we just need to, wherever we are, in every part of the world, we just need to do something, some action. And here in the UK, there is some action that is being done, but I didn't get enough notice to the team. So maybe next Saturday, they can come and speak on here about what's happening in the UK. So one of our champions in Manchester are organizing a demonstration, and they're going to give a petition at number 10, which is, well, there's really no prime minister at the moment. But I think they're doing it after the 4th of July, so there might be a new prime minister, we hope, at number 10, to whom that petition will be handed. Just asking them to put some focus on Zimbabwe, because I feel as though, for me who lives in the UK, the UK ambassador to Zimbabwe is not as vocal, and I know it could be because he has to remain diplomatic. I remember in the time of Melanie Robinson, she was vocal, and so what we used to do was to put pressure on the FCD or here in the UK, and they would immediately send messages to Melanie Robinson and her team, and then she would tweet. But that sort of died down during her last days in office. And so I think we also do need to put pressure on the representatives of the governments in the countries in which we live, so they can do a bit more. They can speak up, because this is unacceptable, these continued arrests. And we just need to continue the noise so that we put a spotlight on these issues, and that they are never forgotten. So I'll just stop there for now, and then I can come back later on. Thank you.
Okay, let me allow Champion Olive. Can you just greet our viewers and listeners? By the way, we are broadcasting not only here on Twitter, we are also live on Facebook, we are live on TikTok, we are live on YouTube. So we want to take the opportunity to welcome our viewers and listeners across the world. We are talking about Zimbabwe, we are talking about Sadc, and just immediately after Champion Olive would have greeted everyone, will get the reverend that I have on the other phone to give us updates on the protest. Go ahead, Champion Olive.
Thank you very much, Mambo Soswe, and greetings to everybody on this space. Thank you for what has been said, and in not wanting to repeat what has been stated by the previous speakers that have welcomed you. I think the one point that I would like to focus on is that every Zimbabwean has a voice. And one thing that was stated is Change Radio is a place for you to elevate that voice, to shout out louder and spread that voice. We all have opinions, and I think what has been our downfall in Zimbabwe is that we are stifled or we are scared to speak. But when you are stifled and scared to speak, there are consequences. You are left unlistened to. So Change Radio is the platform that we are providing everybody here to say, let's speak, let's spread it out to the whole world to listen. We can go back in time to the unrest that has been going on in our country. And I'm excited that the speaker who's coming after me is Reverend, who is going to speak from Christians in politics. For a long time, we've separated Christianity and politics, when in actual fact, within Christianity, there is a requirement for each person to show justice to the next person. There's a requirement for each person to love their brother and to be their brother's keeper. Now, if that is not included within our politics, where we are ensuring that those underprivileged brothers do not have, I think we might be incorrect in not noticing that. So I just want to encourage everybody on this space to say, let's speak up. Let's come together. This is a place that we've come to discuss issues. And like Mambo Soswe rightfully said, we're not speaking for just people here on the space. We're speaking for everybody, for the whole world to listen and to hear. Champion Patricia said earlier that we are listened to. and not that we are leaving our problems for somebody else to solve, but we are giving perspective in the places that we live. There's nothing like people making decisions on issues that they are not informed on. And a lot of the decisions that have been made for us are because people are unaware of what our issues are. If I don't have food at my house, I'm not expecting the neighbor to go and tell somebody else that I don't have food. If I don't speak up, I don't get food. So Zimbabweans, let's rally together. And I'm excited about the space. I'm excited that we at Change Radio can all come together, especially with other people from all over the world, and put a footprint on online and give the online hugs, as stated earlier, and opinions on this show, to make a better Zimbabwe, to take out that rot that is in our country by acting and not just speaking. Thank you, and we'll speak later.
Thank you, Olive. Those who listen to Change Radio, you recognize that voice. She reads English news, and she's actually our English news manager. One of the few that decided to remain behind. Remember, there are some people, as we have been announcing, there are some people that decided to leave. Wakati vari kuenda kwaChabangu, tikaenda vada kuenda kwaChabangu, endai munoita zvokwaChabangu. Wakati vada kuenda kwaNuve, tikati endai munoita zvekwaNuve. Vamwe vakati vauda kuenda kwaSkala, tikati aiwa endai munoita zvokwaSkala. Isu tiri vachamisa, tinogara navachamisa. And Change Radio is rooted among the people in the diaspora, and it will remain there. It has roots in each and every city and country in the world, in all the 5 continents. We still have over 60 volunteers across the world that are making Change Radio keep on going despite the setbacks. We will not be derailed because some people have decided to use their democratic rights to go and be with others. So we are still here, and will continue to be here. And now we have been joined by the Reverend, and for security reasons, I'm not going to announce his name, but he's going to give us updates as to what is going on right now with the protests. There is a lot that is going on. That's why we are now becoming more security conscious. I don't know how much the Reverend is going to tell us, so I'm going to give over to him. But what I know for sure is no matter what, these people, these men and women, the men and women of God have said those protests will go on no matter what. Over to you, Reverend. Thank you very much for being brave enough, especially with what happened yesterday. And you are still saying you want to be here to speak to the people and give them updates. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Chief. Thank you so much, viewers and our listeners.
Right. Let me stop you right there a minute. Can you confirm whether you can hear Reverend because he's speaking from another device? Okay, excellent. Reverend, tovada kumbira mbamatitiro munamato okuvhura program yedu nekunamatira vana vese veZimbabwe kuti varambe vaine mweya weushingi, mweya wekusunungura nyika.
Mazita ndagara hangu ndichida kuti nditende Mwari through a prayer. I will make a short prayer. So I will pray. Thank you, Lord, for making us Zimbabweans. We thank you for giving us this land to be our land where we manage our resources, which we have deposited in our land more abundantly for the benefit of the children of Zimbabwe. We thank you because you love us. You give us your word to strengthen us, to feed us, and to give us courage to speak the truth always, no matter the situation, no matter the fears, things that are surrounding us. But we always speak because we know and believe that you protect us always. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much. much for giving me this opportunity tonight to speak out concerning the protest that you have been hearing for the past weeks. I want to assure you and the people of Zimbabwe and everybody else who are scattered all over the world that nothing will stop us from continuing what we have started. We do not retreat no matter what. If we are to die, we will die doing what we are supposed to be doing. It is not a crime to protest concerning the dire needs and the dire situation of our country. It is not a crime. Everybody has a right, as long as you are a Zimbabwean, you have a right to demonstrate as enshrined in our constitution. You have a right to protest peacefully. Because we are not asking for war, we are asking for simple things. We are asking for peace through dialogue. That is what we are asking for. Everybody, even the blind, can see, even the deaf can hear that the situation in Zimbabwe is no longer that situation whereby we call it a bad situation. It's a death trap now. To live in Zimbabwe is like to live in fire, to put yourself in fire and expect you not to burn. That is the situation that is in our country. Very few, which are ZANU-PF elite, those people, they are living large. They are benefiting from the lootings that are happening in our country. And so, as the people of Zimbabwe, not only as a church, but as people in Zimbabwe, we are so much concerned about the situation. And we've been crying, trying to write letters, trying to awaken our leaders, trying to awaken the who and the who in our country, to no avail. So, what we have decided to do is through this protest, so that our voices can be heard, so that our situation can be corrected. And this is the time when we need all Zimbabweans, whether you go to church or you don't go to church, whether you believe or you don't believe. It is the time that we join hands together as Zimbabweans. Put on that courage mind, put on that courage button, put it on, switch it on, so that everybody is awakened, everybody rise up and fight for our country, and fight for our future, and fight for the future of our children and our great-grandchildren. We do not have another country except Zimbabwe. No other country. I might live in America. America will never be mine. I am a Zimbabwean. I might live in South Africa. South Africa will not be mine. Even if I get a citizenship there. But still, I will not be an indigene of that land. So I belong to Zimbabwe. We belong to Zimbabwe. That's the only country that the Lord has given us. And we can only live peacefully in Zimbabwe. And we can feel at home only in Zimbabwe. Because this is our home. This is our land. We do not know any other land except Zimbabwe to be our motherland. So we have to fight for it. We have to do everything that is possible to make sure the Zimbabwe is secured, to make sure every Zimbabwean is enjoying the resources that are therein. So this is our call. And we are saying, let there be dialogue. Let there be dialogue. South Africa has done it. ANC, ANC has joined with the DA, has joined with many parties that are there in South Africa. They've already formed their government. Ministers have already been appointed. A mixed group of ministers, some from DA, some from EFF, some from ANC, some from other parties. And they did it peacefully. So why is our situation different? If you look at South Africa, the former colonizers, country is moving on. Do you know why they succeed in doing so? Everybody, whosoever was the leader of whatever party there in South Africa, is South Africa at heart. They put South Africa first. Before their interest, they put South Africa first. That is why they managed to agree, to dialogue and agree, so that South Africa moves forward. But so why is our situation in Zimbabwe? We call ourselves leaders, but we don't want the country to move forward. A leader of ZANU-PF wants the whole country to be under ZANU-PF. A leader from certain party wants the whole country to be under their certain party. What is that? Where is the spirit of being a Zimbabwean? Putting Zimbabwe first. Let's put Zimbabwe first. So our prayer as the people of Zimbabwe to God is to pray so that we as Zimbabweans rise up and take this in our hands to solve our own problem. Nobody from anywhere will come and solve our problem. We, the Zimbabweans, we can only solve our problem. Yes, we can rely with Sadc, we can rely with OA, with African Union and any other body, international bodies. We can petition to them, we can do so. It is right, it is correct, we can do that. But they will not solve our problem. They will do what they can do, but they have limitations. Only we, Zimbabweans, can solve our problems. Right now, if you go to Forbes Border Post, a lot of trucks are carrying out our lithium, our chrome. You cry. As long as you are a selfless person, you have people in Zimbabwe at heart, you will cry. And you will die soon of heartbreak. So many things are being looted out of country. And we have leaders who call themselves competent leaders, who call themselves, they love Zimbabwe, they are building Zimbabwe. Yet these things are happening. So it's time Zimbabwe should rise up. It's time Zimbabwe should join hands, should unite, and become one unitary people. One unitary people. Regardless of which party you belong to. The situation in Zimbabwe is no longer about parties. It is about being Zimbabwe and being united, being one people to build our country. And if we don't unite, God in heaven will not help us. You will not come here and do miracles to help us. You know, He will send us like He's doing now to awaken everybody like we are doing, so that you get united and fight and deliver this country into the right hands, so that there is progress in our country. If the leaders fail to dialogue and make things work in our country, we are without any choice but to take it upon ourselves as Zimbabweans and show and demonstrate to them that enough is enough. Let's do things the Zimbabwe way. We are united, we are one people. We no longer want this. We no longer need this. We want our country to move forward. 10 years from now, if we remain like this, 10 years from now, I tell you, all the youth that we are having now, they will be prostitutes. All of them, they will be prostitutes. Some will be they will be running mad, or they will be running mental because of drugs. If you move the streets of Harare and see our youth, how they behave, you can tell something is wrong. You know, I've been moving in the streets asking vendors, are you happy with our situation? They are saying anything, we are ready to do anything. If there is anybody who calls for anything, we are ready to do anything. If we die, we die. If we live, we live. So that's now the situation that is in our country. So as the people of Zimbabwe, we don't want anybody to die. We don't want any life to be lost. Why can't we just be united? Send this protest, send this petition, and let there be dialogue, let there be a transitional government for a moment, so that there is stability in the country, and the situation calms down, so that if there is a call for a fresh election, it will be done under a situation whereby people are now conscientized of how important it is in the country. Thank you, Chief, and thank you, everybody.
Wow, thank you very much, Bishop. To hear this coming from a reverend, a pastor, to also know that a group of people calling themselves intercessors have been praying and preaching about freedom in Zimbabwe. It gives me hope that there is something that is going to happen in Zimbabwe. There is something that is about to happen. Something big is about to happen in Zimbabwe. Where there is God, there is always a way. I just want... Okay, you want to say something, Reverend?
Yes, one other thing, Chief. I just want to clarify one thing. People have been fooled all along that if you are a believer, you go to church, then you don't do politics. It is wrong. Those saying that, it means God has nothing to do with our faith, with how we live. If you say you go to church, then you don't do politics. Because politics is our day-to-day life. We live in a country whereby policies and the regulations are made by politicians in the House of Assembly, in the councils, and everywhere. So if we say politics, we are not a part of it because we go to church. It's a wrong teaching that came not from God, but came from the devil, who is a liar. So I encourage everybody, if you are a believer, you can do politics cleanly. You don't just have to not to take your faith because of politics. You have to do it the right way. And if you do it the right way, then the country will move forward in the right direction, because we have God-fearing people on the seats. We have God-fearing people in parliament, God-fearing people in cabinet, God-fearing people as the president, God-fearing people as councillors. So our country will move forward, knowing that it is in good hands. It is in hands of those people who fear God, who regard life, who regard humanity. So this is my last word for tonight. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. I want you to hold on there. Change radio, if you can open the mics for 5 minutes so that we allow people to just react to what the Reverend just said. And if there is anyone whom God has spoken to and you want to partner with the pastors, you want to help them, because they're not just they're just doing this on their own. They've been contributing $10, $5, and these are people that are in Zimbabwe. He is speaking from Zimbabwe right now, and they've been doing all the work, the posters, the flyers that they've been using, and the money that they're going to use to go to Sadc headquarters in Botswana, it's their money, So if you want to partner, if you want to help them, please put up your hand and say something, or if you just want to give them the word of encouragement, just request the mic and say a few words before the pastor leaves. Meanwhile, while we're doing that, I'm seeing Zambezi has joined. You can go ahead and speak.
Hi, evening, gentlemen. Can I speak a little later? I'm just finishing up something. Okay.
Anyone from the speakers, while we are waiting for some people to just, okay, Mike Waze, you can go ahead.
Pastor vabva kutaura kuti vari kuita zvakanaka kuti vatilide paprocession pamachi kutarisa Mwari pamberi zvinotanda tokuzvinamatira chaizvo kuti zviende mberi. We have been sitting too long. We need to do some action. for what we believe is right for people of Zimbabwe. So we need to start to support the pastors, to be organized and help them. Zvese zvavanoda tiona kuti tingavabatsira sei kuti tisvike kwatiri kuda kuenda. Inini hangu semunhu anotarisa mberi nevision, ndikufunga kuti machi iyoyo zvibudirire, vanhu vagare vari mumarodhi kusvika zvatinoda zvachinja, vanenge vachida chikafu. Saka ngatitangei kuronga zvekuti tingasapota sei kuti vanhu vanenge vapinda murodhi vawane mvura yekunwa nekuwana zvekudya vari murodhi imomo. Ndopfungwa dzangu idzi. Vandoda kuvatenda chaizvo nebasa ravari kuita. Tinozvikurudzira. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maigwaze. Anyone else?
Thank you so much, Chief Maigwaze. Thank you for those remarks. Pastor, thank you. When men of God speak, we all listen. One thing for sure, whenever you see a Zimbabwean, they say in the diaspora or back in Zimbabwe, I'm a Zimbabwean, I'm married, and I go to church. That's what identifies us. So when we hear from our pastors, it means a lot to all of us, and we do appreciate the work you are doing. It means a lot. We need our nation to be conscientized so that we just stop from being spectators and expecting someone to do the work, the heavy lifting for us. So, like Mike Waze has said, these pastors need our help. I have a question for the pastor before he goes, which is pertaining to the bigger discussion. What is he asking, or what is the intercessors movement asking of Zimbabwean citizens? What would you want us citizens to be doing every single day in support of your aspirations for a better Zimbabwe? Thank you.
You can go ahead, Reverend. Dr. Ranga just asked the question, what do you expect from Zimbabweans?
What I'm expecting, or what we are expecting from Zimbabweans, it is the spirit of nation building our country. Every day when you are going to work or whatever you are doing, think the future of our country. Are you doing enough for our country? Are you doing enough for the future of the coming generations? If we, this generation, die, we are hustling. You are hustling wherever you are to put food on the table. Will your children be able to hustle as you are doing? You are training your children to school. After they are done with the school, where do they find jobs? And if they want to start in entrepreneur, would they be able to start a business in Zimbabwe, considering the current situation? Would they be able? Would they be alive, or would there be anything to talk about in Zimbabwe if the current situation continues to be like that? So what we are asking is your support in any way positive, be it your prayers, be it in kind, be it a positive thinking or planning or ideas concerning how we should do it regarding the protest, or how we should do it regarding our situation in Zimbabwe, in solving and putting this to finality. All those things is welcome. So we are not really asking for one particular thing. We are asking for these things that I have mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Change Radio, do we have any people that want to speak and comments on? We're not really looking for questions to the pastor, because we don't want him to give too much information here. So if you want to speak and comment and just give them encouragement, We had given 5 minutes. We are left with 2 minutes.
Love, go ahead. Okay, sanibonani lonke lapha elikhona. Greetings to everyone. With due respect to our honorables in the platform, siyalihlonipha abadala. Right, Longisibusiso Ndlovu okhulumayo, I have nothing to hide. I'm happy that abafundisi, they are pushing the same agenda that we are also pushing. This agenda from our side is started this side in South Africa. We are now having a lot of platforms that are pushing the same agenda that the pastors are pushing. I'm very glad that they are also in the same direction that we are taking. Right. From what we are pushing here, we are pushing for this mass demonstration. We want it also to be done 2 days prior to summit dates that are scheduled in Zimbabwe. The reason why we are pushing for 2 days prior to the dates is because of we want it to be day and night thing until we get to the final day that they will be preparing to sit for the summit. The reason why is because of the system that we are living or that is oppressing the citizens. We know their capabilities to say, when people are demonstrating, they shut down the network, they arrest the journalists and stuff. So now because of, if there is the state security agencies that are listening here, this is Busiso Ndlovu, I'm from Matebeleland, but I'm based in South Africa. So if you are looking for me, look for the person that is talking, that is speaking now. Right. So because we are fed up with what you are doing, so if your masters has sent you here to listen from this conversation and get the information, please take the information to them. We are not turning against any state security agencies, but we are against the system that is rendering the poor services to the Zimbabweans. Zimbabweans are vulnerable all over. So if you are being sent to take the information, please take it to him. Because if you don't take it to him, he's going to tell you or he's going to ask you that where were you working yesterday or last night? So please take the information to them. But during the day of the act, please stand with us. We are brothers. We are friends. We are cousins. So please understand that we are not turning against any state security agencies. Even the pastors that we had speaking earlier on, they are not against you, state security agencies. We respect you. We love you, but we want to restore the dignity of our country. So we want to have this. I just wanted to highlight that so that whoever might be thinking that we are hiding something, we are not hiding anything. We are working to make sure that this summit will be an advantage to all Zimbabweans that are vulnerable. We are suffering. Let's set aside all the differences that we are having. We might be having differences, but for now we are saying, let's all reconcile. Let's all come together. Let's join hands together, Zimbabweans. We have suffered enough. We know we have a lot of political parties that we are having in Zimbabwe, but for now we are saying, let's set aside all those things before any political party citizens first. So meaning the power is in us as masses of Zimbabwe. Let's bring the power to us. Let's stand together. After that, then we'll prepare to go for free and fair elections. So for now, let's join hands together. Let's have a mass demonstration with an impact that even the system will be shocked. Let's build our command centers all over the world and make sure that we bring up the minds that is going to solidify and make sure that the successfulness of this mass demonstration that we are planning today or that we have been planning, that we'll keep on planning. Let's make sure that the vital of it or the impact of it will be very, 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 very solid. That will shake even the regime. Please, citizens, this is what I can forward to you as we are going to continue on discussing in the platform. I don't know for how many hours, because we must come up with a solution to say this is what we are going to do as Zimbabweans to make sure that everything will come in order through us as Zimbabweans. I thank you.
Powerful, powerful. Thank you very much, my brother there. That's the kind of talk that we want to hear, encouraging each other as Zimbabweans. We move together as Zimbabweans and do what we have to do. Rise up and free ourselves. Like the Reverend said, nobody is going to do it for us if we don't do it ourselves. And I want to hand over to Honorable Sibanda. But let me read a message from one of the people in my inbox. He says, Chief, I cannot come and speak up because I am at work. I am one of the pastors, but I am not working with these pastors. But I like what they are doing. Can I donate or take care of the printing materials that they were talking about? So I'll follow up, Reverend. I think you've heard the message there. There's someone who wants to donate printing materials to you, which means you take care of your printing headaches, because we know that you are doing a lot in terms of printing flyers and posters and anything that will be needed, especially as we get closer. So there is someone here. He's a pastor. I'm going to speak to him first before I give him your numbers, and I also give you his number, and then you communicate. His number is 27, which means it's South Africa. So he wants to do printing for you. So we thank God for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll be waiting.
Yes. So Honorable Sibanda, before the Reverend goes, I'm sure you would want to hear your opening remarks before he leaves. Go ahead, Honorable Pashu.
Thank you very much, and good evening to the listeners, to the viewers at home. It's good to hear the submissions that have been made by other speakers here. Well, I think I'll begin this session by just alerting the citizens, alerting everyone in the diaspora in the country that, look, we had planned, we had scheduled to do the commemorations for Day of the African Child across all the 10 provinces in the country. And we had said we'll start with Bulawayo and Harare. So we did everything in terms of law, your clearance, to abide well in time. But in Bulawayo, only to be told on the very morning that, look, you cannot afford to host or to hold those commemorations, because there was a directive from Harare that, look, you have to block these young people, they cannot gather. So 2 hours later, we hear that our colleagues in Harare have been arrested, and we saw the videos where they were being tortured, beaten. It was devastating to see young ladies being treated as if they are animals, as if we are still in the before independence and so forth. So I'm speaking to you in my capacity as a youth leader, in my capacity as a former member of parliament for Kautrapa constituency, to say, look, Banbageti, the democratic space in our country is closing at a fast pace. The civic space is closing also at a fast pace. So it's encouraging as well to hear Umfundisi, the Reverend, calling out for action in preparation, for the demonstrations and everything. Well, I want to also put it clear that, look, we support any means that is progressive in terms of liberating the masses of our people. We are in full support of that, because when change comes, it doesn't look that you're a pastor, you're a politician, you're a civil servant, you're an ordinary citizen. We are all doing this fight not because we want to remain the elite or we want to be the elite, but we are fighting so that whenever there is change, it benefits everyone. And when we say everyone, we mean everyone from Blantyre to Mutare, from Chirundu to Beitbridge, everyone in the four corners of our country. So we stand very much clear in solidarity with whosoever who say, look, let's defend the freedom of our country. So as I begin, I thought I should speak about that. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Reverend, I think you heard the words of support from the young people in Zimbabwe. I just wanted you to I hear that. But if you want to retire, I know you have been doing a lot, lots of meetings going on, and yeah, I don't know what Magetas we last time I spoke to you, Magetas Naguya. You might want to.
I can go where now?
Oh my goodness. All right.
I can go where now? Thank you, Honorable, the way he's just spoken. I think he spoke so well, and that's the spirit that we want, and that's the kind of people that we want. Even the previous speaker, he spoke very, very well. I really appreciate it. It's so encouraging to hear and listen to such kind of people that we are still having as Zimbabweans. So we hope and pray and believe that change is coming and things will be all right in our country. Not very far, but very, 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 very close. We are very, very close to our happiness and joy, peace, and freedom. So let's not give hope, give up the hope, but let's all have hope, believing that things will be all right, and the things will be all right. Some of us, we know that things will be all right. It might be a mountainous task to carry, but at the end of the day, we are going to succeed. No retreat, no surrender. We move forward.
Thank you very much.
Good night. I need to.
Yes, thank you very much, Reverend. We'll talk to you again. We appreciate your time. God bless you.
Thank you.
Dr. Ranga, over to you. I know you have a lot that you want to have Honorable Banda share with us. You can go ahead.
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Honorable, thank you for the patience, taking time to be with us this afternoon. It's a great pleasure. Can you tell us what happened in Bulawayo? I know this is kind of repetition, but repetition is reinforcement. What happened in Bulawayo this past weekend, and also what happened in Harare in terms of the illegal arrests? What is the meaning of that? And also, if you can comment on what we just witnessed this week in terms of political developments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, there is no harm in repetition. In Ndebele we always say imita ngokuphinda. I don't know how we can put that in Shona, but it literally means that it gets pregnant after repetition. So this is what happened in Bulawayo. We had scheduled to have Day of the African Child commemorations on the 16th of June last Sunday. So we had wanted to start in Bulawayo and in Harare, and then we cascade down to all the other 8 remaining provinces in the country. So we planned everything so on point that we had all the police clearances in Bulawayo. We had done everything in time. We had mobilized. I mean, we had mobilized, I think, almost 200 young people per ward. Out of all the 29 wards of Bulawayo, we had made sure that at least we have 200 young people per ward to make sure that we fill the venue that we had planned to fill. So because of that, we know and we knew that the regime was going to panic. And, when we got to the venue on the morning of the 16th of June, we were told, by the caretakers of the venue that, look, you can't afford to go ahead with your venue. And while we're still trying to negotiate, trying to see what's happening with Zagalan and so forth, the police were there and they were very clear to say, look, we got a directive from Harare. You guys cannot go ahead and commemorate the Day of the African Child. This is against national security and so forth. So it was bad that we ended up sending messages, communicating with our teams in grassroots to say, look, you can't afford to go on the venue, because we had seen as leadership that, look, these people, they are basically looking for 1 or 2 young people to arrest and fit into their narrative and so forth. And 2 hours later, which wasn't a surprise. 2 hours later, we're then told that, look, our colleagues in Harare have been arrested, they've been beaten, they've been harassed, they've been tortured. So what this is happening is not new. We have seen these things happening even before, during our campaigns for the 23rd of August, where we as the opposition were denied space to campaign, through the banning of our rallies, where we're denied space to freely express ourselves, even to the voters. Now, if you are to look at this thing, you will realize, or you begin to appreciate that, look, the democratic space in Zimbabwe, it's closing at a fast pace. Because where else in the world except in Zimbabwe, have you ever seen a government that allows you that gives you a permission to hold an event which is not even political, but only in the morning of that particular event, you are told that, look, there's a directive that is coming from the capital in Harare to stop you guys. It's only in Zimbabwe, and all this speaks to the democratic space shrinking. And what this means, they are not only closing out to us as political leaders, but this is also affecting even the ordinary young people who have nothing to do with politics. Because if you are now living in a country where you cannot express yourself, where you are denied freedom of association, where you are denied to basically express who you are, what you believe in, and what you think in terms of where the country must go to, it basically means that we're not going anywhere as a country. So it was said in Harare that, look, they arrested our leaders at a private residence, to arrest Senator Timba, his son, and over 70 young people to be arrested, to say, why are you gathered here? Why are you having the June 16? Why are you commemorating this? So when you look at all those things, and then you hear some other people saying, look, we're in a new republic, this is a new dispensation, all that nonsense which they always utter, then you wonder, where are we heading to as a nation? What is it that needs to be done? So that's what has been happening. Then coming to this to the state of affairs that has been happening in the country. Look, we've always said and we've always brought out these issues. ZANU government is very corrupt. They are corrupt to the core. And I would love to quote the words of President Chavisa to say, it's rotten from the head. You see. So all I can say is that we have a leadership crisis. As long as our leadership is questionable in this country, as long as we don't solve the governance issue, all these corruption scandals that we are seeing, they are not the cause. They are basically the symptoms of a rotten system, the symptoms of a rotten leadership that we have in this country. I can tell you that as long as we have the current leadership that we have in this country, more is yet to come. I was talking to some other colleagues who were saying that Zimbabwe is a movie. Every day expect a new episode. It can be corruption, it can be scandals. It's simply because we don't have a leadership. So I wouldn't want to dwell much on the specific details because we have always highlighted these things. You will remember the days of the 15 billion that went missing, when it came to the issue of mining and the drug scandal. There's a lot of scandals that have always been happening in this country. We haven't even, it's not yet even a year after the election, but look at what has happened. Look at the scandals. Look at the corruption that is happening. It's less than 12 months when ZANU-PF government has been in office. So I'm saying this to the citizens, in Zimbabwe, to the citizens in the diaspora, and everywhere where you are, to say, look, Banvagit, we have a leadership crisis in the country, and we have to solve it. How do we solve it? We have to come together as the citizens. I know a lot of people will say, look, let's wait for 2028, and our very clear as the young people of this country, we are saying, 2028 ukachana. 2028 actually ari kure. 2028 is too far. We will not wait for that. And I'm glad that the pastors are already leading, which is good, because we need to do away with this mentality of thinking that the only person that should bring change is President Chamisa. Change belongs to all of us. change belongs to the pastors, to the students, to the civil servants, and all of us. We need to come together and ensure that when we speak about change, when we fight for change, we all come together and save our country. Because what's happening in this country is not normal. It's not serving anyone's purpose. Because you speak to civil servants and listen to them, just study their pay slip and see how much they are earning. It doesn't matter whether you're a teacher, you're a nurse, you work in the judiciary, wherever. Just look at a pay slip of a civil servant in this country. It's bad. It's very, very bad. So I'm saying this to say, look, change belongs to all of us. And unless and until all of us must come together, that's when we'll see that change is coming. I hope I've managed to respond. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Honorable. That's a very comprehensive answer. And I will have one more question. Since I'm the one who talks the most on this platform, there's an unwritten agreement that I ask the most difficult questions. But before I do that, let me give an opportunity to Mike Gwaze to make a comment or react to what you have said or ask a question. Thank you, Mike Gwaze. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Honorable Pasho. I think we are starting to talk now that let's be together. Let's join hands together. Let's work together. Let's be one Zimbabwe. We need to speak with one voice. Pastors are leading. Let's be together. And I like what Mr. Ndlovu said. Let's join together. Let's be one and speak with one voice. Tombosiana nezvema differences ati now, but the main cause we've got one enemy, and that enemy is ZANU-PF. Inofanira kuti ibve. Saka tinokutendai Honorable Pasho, tinokutendai nekushanda nemapasta aya. Ngatishandei pamwe chete tibvise the one enemy for us, which is ZANU-PF leadership. Tinokutendai chaizvo. Zvamuri kuramba muchishanda neyouth, rambai muchikontechaidza mayouth kuti aone where we need to be going. Because nekuti kuZimbabwe, they don't hear many voices. Data rinodhuriswa. There's a reason chidhuriswa. Kuti vana vasanzwe anything. Saka ana Honorable Pasho, rambai muchishanda neyouth, educate them. Vadzidzisei, vazive kuti why we need to fight for our rights. Because kuZimbabwe vanofunga kuti our rights are ZANU-PF. No. Kana tichiri kutaurirai mayouth, Pastor Honorable, kuti kana tichiri kufarira vanhu vanonzi mbinga, vakaposta rekuti mbinga vari mbavha. Kana tichiri kufarira kupiwa machicken in, kureva kuti tiri kuindosa kuti tiri kuda ZANU-PF. Musi watichatsamwa tikati hatidi chicken in, hatidi kupiwa maakwa. Because all that money iri kushandiswa kupiwa maakwa, kushandiswa kutenga chicken in, imari inofanira kusapota the hospital iyoyo, mari iyoyo. Saka vaudzei kuti kana muchiri kufarira kupiwa maakwa, muchiri kufarira kupiwa machicken in, muchiri kufarira kuita maslogan, kureva kuti you are endorsing ZANU-PF. Because zvese izvozvo zviri kuwanikwa nemari yavari kutora, your taxpayers money, paying kuti mudye chicken in asi muchishaya mapiritsi. Saka speak to the youth and conscientize them. Thank you so much. Tinozvitenda zvikuru. Dei taramba takabatana maZimbabweans. Ndandichiteerera maKenyans. There were thousands and thousands on their space talking about one thing. Isuma Zimbabweans, let's be thousands and thousands, but we pama spaces and talk of one thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike Gwaze. I don't know if you want to respond to that, Honorable, or you want to hear the next comment from Tino or question.
Well, I think my response will be that it's encouraging to hear, our mothers, vachiti kurudzira kuti let's move forward. And we appreciate that because In a struggle, you need that kind of a motivation. You need your elders, you need your fathers, you need your mothers. So it's good to hear them speaking out, best motivate ukuthi kubanini umsebenzi akusetshenzwe. So thank you very much. We appreciate and we keep moving.
Thank you, Honorable. My brother Tino, make your question to the Honorable. Thank you.
Okay, greetings leadership. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Firstly, I want to thank the Honorable Pasha for putting you together. What we need in Zimbabwe right now, first thing, we need to unite as a nation. Like in Zim, most of the time we make unity. In the what we need to come together as a team, as a youth of Zimbabwe, and speak with one voice. If you can unite as a Zimbabwean, if I can tell you to remove Sadc, it won't take us even 24 hours. So as Manin, let's preach the gospel. What we want a better Zimbabwe for everyone. Look, some of us, we are here in South Africa, we are suffering, Zimbabwean. And it's very, very sad. So what we need, we want a better Zimbabwe. So for us to achieve that goal, we need to unite. Imagine if you do something here in South Africa, like they won't say like a Shona did this, they said Zimbabwe did this and this. So I think what I can say to Brother Pasha, thank you so much for encouraging us to continue to work, and we're not gonna stop until we have a better Zimbabwe for everyone. And thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother. Honorable, as you answer that, I'll have one more question for you, like I promised, and then I'll open it up to the rest of the panelists on the platform. Honorable.
Yes, thank you very much, my brother. And I've always told people that I think I tweeted 2 days ago that Zimbabwe belongs to all of us, and no one is tied to deeds to this country. Our colleagues, I call them our colleagues because we are all Zimbabweans. Our colleagues in ZANU, they always think that in the opposition we are not patriotic. We all love Zimbabwe. The reason why we're in politics is because we want to see, a Zimbabwe that is prosperous and benefits everyone from every province, from every corner. So when we say we are now engaging in a Zimbabwe for change, we want a Zimbabwe that will benefit everyone, regardless of your tribe. And if you remember, in 2023, we were talking about President Chamisa being a president for everyone. We were talking about a Zimbabwe for everyone, that he has to benefit everyone. And if you follow the statement of President Chamisa, where he said he's no longer doing partisan politics, but is now doing national politics. The meaning of that statement on its own, it basically tells you that gone are the days of doing politics of tribes, of doing politics of being partisan, of doing politics that divides our people, of doing politics that does not benefit everyone. Where we are going, I must emphasize this, it's a Zimbabwe that has to benefit everyone. So for some of us, we are very clear in terms of where we want this country to go. And we encourage everyone to say, let's journey along, let's all be on board, because we are making sure that we're building a Zimbabwe for everyone.
Thank you very much, Honorable. That's comprehensive. Obviously, we want Zimbabwe to work for everyone. So the question I have for you, because we have you here today, you need to answer these very serious questions. So citizens, when we observe what's going on in Zimbabwe, whether it comes to the illegal arrest of Senator Timber, whether it comes to the imposter Chabangu and what he is doing in parliament, whether it comes to the Chivayo with Sadc, there is a common theme there. There is criminality everywhere. There is disregard of citizen interests, the citizens' will. We see that in broad daylight. So some citizens say that this is really the work of ZANU-PF operatives who are acting illegally, whether they're doing it through parliament. I've heard some citizens say maybe Sadc should be investigating the Speaker of Parliament and things like that, including your recall and other things. What is your comment about the criminality that we are seeing all over the board? And how does that connect in terms of, how our economy is doing? Because I know we keep talking about leadership change, but are these things that are happening a sign of illegal activity by those in government acting under the umbrella of we are government, when in fact these are criminals who are abusing our state institutions? So what is your comment regarding that? Is it fair to say these are ZANU-PF operatives who have captured everything in our country, and whenever we speak up, they say authorities don't let you protest, authorities don't let you gather, authorities, but when authority really means ZANU-PF, what is your comment? I know it's a loaded question, but that's why I said I'm the one who speaks the most. And after this, you won't hear my voice much. I'm going to leave it to the rest of the people on the panel. Thank you.
Thank you very much for such an important question. This is how I'm going to respond, my brother. You must understand one thing, that there is what we call a social contract in politics. So what is a social contract? We are basically saying that the governors must be trusted by the citizens. The citizens must be able to trust the governors. And then we can say, look, there's a fulfillment of the social contract. But at this point in time in this country, those that are governing are not trusted by the citizens. And those that are governing do not trust the citizens. So if there is no trust, I'll give you an example. If there is no trust in the system, nothing works. How do you measure trust? I'll give you just a simple example that you can use to measure trust in our beloved country. As long as if I give you $10 and you are not confident enough to take your $10 and deposit it in a bank and say, look, I cannot keep this money in my house, therefore let me put it in a bank of your choice. As long as you are not confident enough to do that, it's an indication, it's a sign that the social contract in our country is broken. Now, as long as the social contract is broken, if you as a citizen, you are not confident in your system as a country, how much more of an investor? How much more of foreigners? How much more of the business community? How much more, of the skills that you probably think of attracting from other countries and so forth? So what do I mean by that? Politics influences our economy. President Tsvangira used to say that you can rig elections, but you cannot rig the economy. So as long as it's rigged, it produces, bad economy. So what these things that we are seeing, my brother, those are symptoms, those are fruits. It's not the root cause. I'll always go back to what I said, that look, our politics, it's wrong. It's wrong. You look at pre-election, the election, post-election, how we handle our conflicts, how we do our things, and we have normalized things that are normal. Even if you have to look at that issue of saying yes or chabang, where else in the world you've ever seen someone who decides to say, look, I'm an SG of a party, therefore I recall and I do this, and is accepted by courts? We got into court, I think, for over 16 times consecutively, 16 different cases, and all those cases we're not winning them. And you can't really say that we didn't have a strong legal team, or we didn't have a good case. So we have we no longer have separation of powers in this country, where you're expecting the executive to pull, going this way, the judiciary, the legislature, everything is captured. And why is everything captured? Everything is captured because our politics is wrong. And unless and until we restore that social contract which I was talking about, nothing is going to work in this country unless and until we restore that. So I think in brief I can just answer that question, but I hope I didn't speak much more in a technical way, because I just tried to break it down so that we all understand. Thank you very much.
I understood, Honorable. That's why I have one more difficult one for you. The very last one, I promise.
Dr. Ranga, let's allow the Honorable to take some order.
Absolutely. After he answers my question, I'll disappear. So, Honorable, you saw the gathering this week. And citizens, we see them on social media talking about President Chamisa as a beacon of hope. What is your comment? You may have said something, but I wasn't paying attention because I was ready to ask the next question. Thank you.
No, it's all right. You see, this is a space. It's different from a TV interview. It's different from a podcast. We speak freely, so that's why I'm also free to engage, because we are all engaging. Look, President Chamisa is the future. President Chamisa represents the new. He represents the light. Look at, read all the policy documents that we have always presented under President Chamisa and see what we have always promised. Look at what we had promised to do in the first 100 days yet President Chamisa become president. So you don't need to be a scientist to understand how the man works, his vision, for this country. So it's key not only to us in politics, but to every ordinary Zimbabwean. And why do I say it's key? On the 23rd of August, they tried by all means to suppress the urban vote. I'll give my constituents as an example. Voting was supposed to start at 7 a.m., but voting in Cultureback in the first polling station started at 3 p.m. And that's another thing which we have never seen in this world. It started at 3 p.m. But that as it may, which means it ended at 3 a.m. But tell you what, the people of Cultureback voted for President Chamisa. They voted for myself and also voted for our councillors. But why do I say people believe in President Chamisa? He had more votes than myself, who was actually on the ground, because people understand his vision. People knew that this is our leader. You can delay us to vote, you can frustrate us, you can do ABC. So that alone is an indication that, look, the people of Zimbabwe, they look up to President Chamisa, and we all do, because we know that his vision for this country is not going to benefit the elite like what we are seeing with the ZANU government, but it's going to benefit everyone, because President Chamisa was clear that, look, when we get into government, we want to build a Zimbabwe for everyone, and because of that, Zimbabwean people, they know. Zimbabwean people understand that. So that's why even when they took the MDC, it took us, we formed a party, I think in a space of 3 months, we won the by-elections with 19 out of 22 MPs that were recalled at the time. You recall that in 2018, when President Tsvangirai passed on in February, we had from February up to July to campaign for President Chamisa, and we still won the election. On the 23rd of August, it was the same. Why? Because the people of Zimbabwe, they know who their leader is. Because the people of Zimbabwe understand the vision of President Chamisa. So I don't think I can add much on that.
Thank you. You're satisfied. I can go now.
Thank you.
Chief.
Sorry, Chief, are you there? I just want to say that let's take a break. Let me take you back to to August 2023. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Let me take you back to August 2023. So I'm looking at the elections results on the 23rd of August. And President Chamisa is in Ward 6, 4,077 votes. And Emerson Mnangagwa is 1,250. And in Ward 15, President Chamisa is 3,805. Emerson Mnangagwa is 1,108. Then Ward 28. There are only 3 wards in Country Park, right?
Yes, Ward 6, 15, and 28.
Yeah. Then Ward 28. President Chamisa is 3,323. And Emerson Mnangagwa is 959. Then in total now, President Chamisa at Ward level is more votes than Emerson Mnangagwa. Emerson Mnangagwa is a total of 3,317. And President Chamisa is 11,205. So the minimum, the lowest President Chamisa got at what level is in Ward 15, which is 3,805, and which is more than the total Emerson Mnangagwa got at what level. I'm posting the results on the space. You can check the charge sheet I'm reading from. So that's what I just wanted to update. Over to you, Mambozo.
Chief, you are muted. Zana Chief, you never know. They are busy adjudicating my matters. Since Tawa Nima Kangaroo Court in Zimbabwe. My brother, change radio. I think you should, because in the Garamanji phones are honorable. I know Zoti Paspress up. No. So you go ahead, my sister Olive. If you have a question for the honorable, please go ahead. And we can open it up if there are other people who want to ask questions, make a comment, make it 1 minute or less, whether it's a comment or a question, so that we can spend as much time as we can and hear from the honorable. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ranga. It's Olive back here again. Thank you very much, Honorable Pasha. I think just listening to you, I can hear the passion that you have, and obviously it's evident in the figures that have been read out that you are definitely doing something right that is pulling the masses. There is one question, and I think that has baffled me for a long time, because I would also like the answer, because for a long time we have highlighted that if you are in Zimbabwe and you are not affected by what is going on within the economy, within the politics, you are either extremely rich or you are benefiting from some of the side deals that should be coming to the masses. Now, my one worry is that we as Zimbabweans have become a people that always need to be encouraged. Time immemorial, we go back to the 15 billion we spoke about. We went into the mafias, the gold mafias. We went into several other incidences where people made noise, and it kind of died down. And we are left with the select few who are shouting and seemingly being persecuted for highlighting what is going wrong within the country, or who are persecuted for what is going wrong in the country. How can we inject or re-inject that passion to others of us? Yes, we speak about it and we talk about how each and every person needs to come in and speak. I'm cognizant of the fact that I think we as Zimbabweans have also got to a point where we are we are getting tired of fighting, or we're getting scared of fighting. How would you suggest that we instigate, or we inject more passion, more fire into Zimbabweans, so that we can fight for this? Because where there's more of us, I think it will give us a lot more strength.
Okay, thank you very much. I think if ever there is a time where, as a country, we must be motivated to fight, it's now. And I think I cannot overemphasize that. But what I can say is that what is happening in Zimbabwe, it affects everyone. If you take a teacher, for instance, and just have a look at their pay slip, you take another civil servant, you take even an ordinary business person who has just a startup, and you just say, let me just go through your books and see how much tax you are paying vis-a-vis what you are getting from the government, and so forth. So what we need to do, because a revolution is not an overnight thing, change will not come overnight, but it's a process. But what we need to do now, especially we in the opposition, we who are active as activists, is to try and make sure that we break down, we explain, we educate our people in relation to their struggles. We should not have an umbrella approach to say we are fighting. Our messaging, when we talk to the young people, we must make them understand and realize their need to be in the struggle. When we talk to civil servants, we must make sure that we identify the issues that speak to them, so that they are able to see that, look, this is affecting my salary. These things are happening because we don't have good governance. So I agree with you that at some point people will begin to feel that, look, this thing of voting is not working, change is not coming. But change is coming, and our people need to understand that change will not only come through an election. And our people need to understand that when we talk about elections, it's not just a season that comes and goes. It's good we are engaging on spaces like this. It's good some of us, we are constantly engaging with the young people. And I know that very soon you'll be seeing programs to engage with the women, to engage with the business community, to engage with the students, the labor movement and everything. And at the end, we all need to feed into the broader struggle. But we need to be people oriented. We need to make sure that we are with the people at the grassroots level, explain the issues that identify with them. Because one thing for sure that we have seen, we are all affected in Zimbabwe, but what affects a young person in Bulawayo or in Harare is not exactly the same thing that affects a young person in Cholocho or in Wetza or in Zarabani or in Plums and so forth. So we must make sure that we appeal to these masses of our people in a way they understand, in a way they can relate to their issues, and by so doing, we can have everyone coming on board. The same way, people came on board when the Democratic Alternative was formed around 98, 99. You had people coming from the students' movement, people coming from the labor movement, people coming from all walks of life in civil society, saying, look, we now want change. So I think now it's ripe. All we need is just to energize, like you are saying, that to revive and say, look, let's come together. So we need to make our people understand that, look, this is happening. You are facing the troubles you are facing because we have a governance crisis in the country.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Olive. My brother, Change Radio or Chief, any questions for our Honorable? My brother, Freelance, welcome to the program. If you want to go ahead and ask a question or make a comment, thank you.
Maxwell, say, how are you guys? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't know how I missed this. Now, thank you so much, Pasho Tini Mafana. I've got a question, but it's a question for every Zimbabwean. Obambe umlomo waphansi. Ukuthi we know that our brothers ekade sisebenza labo bangatshana nabo those we are working with, they've decided to do what they want. It's freedom of expression, yes, but they were holding our the picture of our president or the image of our president. Now they've gone on to remove the image of our president. Mr. Spanda, when are we going to see the takeoff of you guys starting to form or to start a new? Because we are all waiting. Maybe sizazwa announcement with the guys. Now we are starting to prepare. Can we keep on waiting, or you've got insuku zenelukwazi ukuthi hayi down where party is coming, or what is going on? Because abantu abakwazi ukuthi kwenzakala njani now. Thank you.
Okay, ngiyaphila kakhulukazi mfowethu, and thank you very much for such an important question. I think if you were following closely how President Chamisa spoke, I'll repeat again what President Chamisa said. We're not going to be doing partisan politics, but we'll be now doing national politics. The new is coming. The new is coming. This I can tell you. But now our focus is no longer on this petty partisan politics, because our focus now is going to be on national issues. Regardless of your party, regardless of where you come from, who you are. Because we have understood what these things of partisan politics, they don't serve much purpose with our experience that we have here in the past. But what I can tell you is that look, the new is definitely coming, and it's going to be announced soon. And just stay tuned. And I can assure you, I can tell you that what is being built, what is being put in place, is going to make sure that it answers the national question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. Comprehensive response. My brother-in-law, thank you for being back with us on the platform. Sister Olive, take it away, and then my brother-in-law.
Thank you. I just wanted to also encourage the speaker who spoke just before the Honorable with that question, and I think it's a question that everybody countrywide is asking. I think the one thing I wanted to reiterate is we have leaders so that they can guide us, but leaders are only leaders of people when people are present. So we should not wait for the leaders to come when we ourselves have not presented ourselves. And leaders come from people like us, who today have been active and tomorrow we become leaders. I think what I can encourage you is, while we are waiting for the new that is coming, I think be seen to be doing something in your corner. And don't get me wrong, my brother, I'm not saying you are not, but I'm encouraging everybody else who's listening to say, let's not continue to be at a point of waiting for something. Let us be at a point of being proactive and saying, what can I do? In one of our spaces, I think we spoke about how we, within Change Radio, are going through various changes, but we're also a platform where we are allowing people to voice their concerns. Be part of that. Come in and inquire, how can I be part of Change Radio? How can I contribute towards Change Radio? How can I contribute to other initiatives that are pushing for change? And I think by the time our president comes in, by the time we have structures that come in, by the time we come in, whether it be it to another election, to that point of change, to a revolution where our revolution is moving, it moves because we are acting in those small parts of life. So I think let's be encouraged that to assist and to make the work easier for our Honorable Pasha, where he is, we need to be doing something. He can stand there and he can speak to people and he can advocate for us. But there is no point in advocating for people who are standing still.
You advocate for people who want to move from stage A to stage B, and I think let's be seen to do that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you once again for the opportunity. Yeah, I want to emphasize on this to you all fellow citizens of Zimbabwe. If we're gonna be waiting to say NC, our change champion, should be doing this or should come up with something, let me say this to you this evening. I really appreciate that you have committed yourself that during this hour you will be in this platform so that we can engage together to iron things and make sure that we do something as Zimbabwean citizens. Right. I want to look closely on this. Just after elections, fellow citizens, is that it was announced that the elections were not free and fair. They were flawed. Immediately when that announcement was made, the task was in the hands of the citizens to do something. Like what they did in Zambia. Immediately after elections, Edgar Lungu was not prepared to hand over the power to HH. But because of the citizens, they raised their voices and say, no, we are not protecting our votes here. So now the task is coming back in our hands as Zimbabwean citizens. Let's leave the issue of the leaders, because those leaders that we are having in Zimbabwe, it's easy for them to be arrested. It's easy for them to be abducted. Let's be brothers keepers. Let's take the whole lot in masses of Zimbabwe. No ways that ruling government, no ways that those soldiers, those state security agencies who arrest 4 million citizens that will be in the streets of Zimbabwe. But they can arrest individuals. They can go to Honorable Pasho house tonight, after this space, and say, Pasho, we're listening to you, come here. But if we are 4 million Zimbabweans in the streets and putting that country on standstill and say, enough is enough, allow you, the system of ZANU-PF, allow the country to be taken forward in the hands of the citizens of Zimbabwe. It's going to neutralize, it's going to stretch their muscles to the extent of they will fail to do anything than only to surrender the power and allow the elections to take place in a good manner. Not what happened in Zimbabwe. Now we must make sure that, let's make sure that those with the masses behind them, those with weight of commands, please be safe. Let's bring all Zimbabweans to. Let's just give the direction, because at the present moment, we need to close all the avenues that the ruling government is using to say they will come after you. If you say this, they will come after you. If you say so, now when they want to arrest, if they say who is behind all the initiatives of removing ZANU-PF, let's all say it's the citizens of Zimbabwe who are concerned about their country, so that when they want to approach one of them to bribe or one of them to do anything, if they want to bribe, let them bribe everyone who is a Zimbabwean. Exactly. So let's build a command center that says this whole thing, this whole initiative that we are coming with, let's leave the parallels. Let's come together. The pastors, the civil society, everyone in Zimbabwe, all the political parties, let's come together and have one voice and bring all the masses that are behind us and say, guys, here is the direction. The direction is saying we are going to have a mass demonstration together as one. Let's leave the issue of I want to be the leader. Let's not push the issue of the leadership. These Zimbabwean citizens, they are not stupid. They know their leaders. They know what they want. So for now, let's bring everyone together. Let's fight the battle that we have, the challenges that we are facing. Let's restore the dignity of our country. How so? By bringing all Zimbabweans together. Let the masses raise their voices. Let's put that country on standstill. Let's not run away from being it's a treason or what. Already we are in treason. We can't run away from the truth. We can't run away from that we are suffering. I might be living a better life in South Africa, but what about my generation, my kids that are growing today? After 10 years, where will be they be staying? So, citizens of Zimbabwe, whoever is listening here, tell your friend, tell your relatives, there is no family that is having less than 5 people. Tell your family members, tell your friends, tell your workmates that now the time has arrived. We are not pointing the issue of saying Honorable Pasho or Honorable NC or any political party. We are saying we are now the Zimbabweans. We have felt the temperature of suffering. We have suffered enough. It can't allow us to keep on silent. Let's come together. Let's work together. All the pastors, let's be a one thing. All the organizations that we know, the leaders, let's come together. Let's have one voice. We know that Zimbabwe, ZANU-PF have planted the issue of FARs and CIOs and stuff. But for now, let's trust whatever that we are having. Those CIOs, they are suffering. No one in Zimbabwe who's working under Labor Act. Everyone is working under intimidation. Please, citizens, let's find it in our heart that the task to liberate Zimbabwe is in our hands. Let's find it in our heart that the weapon to liberate Zimbabwe is not the firearms. No, the weapon is us to come together in numbers and say enough is enough. Mnangagwa and your system, please, we want to bury you today, not tomorrow. To remove ZANU-PF is not going to take us 24 hours, but to revive or to unite Zimbabweans, that's where the task is. Let's come together. Let's not point on saying this one once did this. I know that we have differences. We can't agree in everything. But for now, we are saying, let's set aside all those things. Let's parallel our eyes together with one agenda, with focused, and make sure that in one accord, same-minded. Then by doing that, automatically, check what Fire did in Senegal. Check what he did in Senegal. Check what the citizens did in Senegal. It was not him alone. Citizens stood for their rights and said, no. This is the candidate that we want. Let's push for it. For now in Zimbabwe, because we are already past the issue of the election, now let's restore the dignity of Zimbabwe by doing what? By coming together. Let's demonstrate in Zimbabwe. Let's make sure in a peaceful way. We are not rebels. Constitution allows us to demonstrate, but because of the intimidation and oppression, then we are failing now. Because of the ruling government. So for us to stretch their muscles, let's come together and make sure that that divide and rule, we close that barriers. And make sure that when they say we plan to divide and rule the Zimbabwean, they are saying, no, we are now united. They will left with no option, I guarantee. Left with no option than to vacate those offices and allow the citizens to choose the candidates that they want to take that country forward as a nation. I thank you. I close my mic.
Thank you, my brother Ndovu. Honorable, I keep lying to you and to everyone because my brother Ndovu has inspired a question that I was going to ask, and I was hoping one of the panelists would ask. So I'm sure you have heard in the last few weeks or months, people talking about a citizens' parliament. Basically, the idea being that citizens are the highest parliament in Zimbabwe. They are the highest court in Zimbabwe, which means that when we can't get accountability through the systems that we have now, that because ZANU-PF is abusing the courts, they're abusing the police, they're doing whatever. They're actually causing more havoc in our communities when they send people with riot gear to people's homes who are having brides and so forth. What is your comment regarding the role that ordinary citizens should play, especially young people? Because they're the people without jobs, they're the people who are still living with their parents in their 20s and 30s when they should be starting their own families. Thank you.
Thank you very much for such an important question. I think it's all about the people. For some of us to be said we are politicians, we are leading the people. If the people says let's take this direction, that's what we will follow. If the people say, look, as members of parliament, we think you should be pushing this issue, that's what we should push. Well, that's what we should push. So I am saying this to bring us to an understanding that if there is a constituency that has the power when it comes to governing the country, it's the citizens. If there is a group that has to understand that they can do as they wish, they can run this country, it is the citizens. And that's why protests, wherever there is success, wherever they yield results, it is when the people come together. A classic example is what is happening in Kenya, following the taxes that President Ruto has put in place and the people are rejecting. It's the young people on the street, it's the young people coming together, it's the Kenyan citizens across, both some on the internet, on social media, some on the street. So if only our people understood the power that they have, in terms of shaping change. We have seen those protests even in Zimbabwe that, look, if people come together, for sure change does come. So it doesn't matter whether it's young people, it's the old people, it's the labor movement, it's the students, it's the middle class. If the people come together from all walks of life, change will definitely come. I like what my brother said, for that. Look, we don't have to wait for political parties. We don't have to wait for individual, but people have to come together and make sure that they fight for change. Because our people must understand that change is not only for President Chamisa or for us in the opposition, for us in parliament or for Change Radio. When we talk about change, it's for everyone. And the day we realize that is the day we will come together and bring change to our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. Chief, are you back?
I'm here, Doc. I'm here. I've always been here, listening, enjoying the rich and productive discussion. Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you, everyone. I've been trying also to get hold of Honorable Gumbo, but where he is, he can't join. But I'm glad that Honorable Pasho is holding up and he is still going. But of course, we are about to round up, but don't go away because we're going to give Honorable Pasho 5-10 minutes to say his closing remarks and the way forward as a youth, as a stakeholder, if not a shareholder in Zimbabwe, what he thinks the youth should be doing, not only the youth in Zimbabwe, but also even the youth in the diaspora. And I think, of course, you also speak to all of us what we should be doing. I like what my other brother, Zitndlovu, was saying, that we as Zimbabweans, we have this disease that we want to wait for someone. We want to point fingers at other people. But what we forget is when we are pointing to one person, we are pointing to President Chamisa or someone, one finger is pointing at that person, but 4 fingers are pointing right back at you. What are you doing? It's no longer a time where you should be asking what others are doing. This is a time where you should be asking yourself, what are you doing about the situation in Zimbabwe? What have you done? There's a common saying that says, whatever we have done, Zimbabweans, it's not good enough. Sometimes it looks like we are undermining the efforts of the people, the efforts of the citizens, but it is true. What we have done is not enough. We just need to do more. Everyone has to do more. Let's stop looking at someone. Che Guevara was the one who said people are looking for liberators, but liberators do not exist. The people liberate themselves. We must be ready to liberate ourselves. And I think this is a good opportunity that we have been presented by Sadc, we have been presented by the system itself, that we have Emerson Mnangagwa being given the chairmanship of Sadc. I keep repeating this, I keep going back to this because it makes my blood boil. It just makes me so unhappy. It makes me angry. And I think it should also make everyone who is here, make every Zimbabwean angry that a person who rigged an election, an illegitimate president, is now about to go to the helm of Sadc. What chances we will have after that? It diminishes all the efforts of the citizens, everything that we might think of doing in future. it has dire consequences. That's something that we should stand up as Zimbabweans, united as Zimbabweans together, and say no to that. We must tell Sadc, we must tell the international community, let us leverage on what is happening in South Africa right now. We have the ANC governing with the DA, and we know how the DA hates ZANU-PF. Let's take advantage of that. Let's have our South African comrades demonstrating in South Africa, going to the offices of DA and petitioning the DA so that they do something about this situation. I know for a fact that Cyril Ramaphosa and ANC cannot continue to have it their way as they have been doing. They have been the biggest sponsor of what ZANU-PF has been doing in Zimbabwe. And now that there is the DA, they will be told that you can't do that. This is wrong. This is wrong. You know, I don't think the DA want to be part of a system, a regime that supports a regime that is killing its own citizens, that is arbitrarily arresting its own citizens. I don't think they want to be part of that. I don't care who they are. I know a lot of people will be saying they are part of apartheid, they are the colonizers. We as Zimbabweans should not even think about that, because a friend at this moment in time, anyone who is against ZANU-PF must be a friend to us. So let's do what we can. Let's leverage on the situation in South Africa and get more people, more organizations, more opposition parties on our side and put pressure on the regime. Pressure works. A lot of people will be asking, why do you continue to do demos? I've been asked that question so many times. You continue to go to the United Nations year in, year out. It doesn't help. People are demonstrating in the United Kingdom. People are demonstrating in South Africa. It doesn't help. But I'm telling you, it helps. It's pressure. It's called pressure. So let's put the pressure. Let's have demonstrations. Let's not wait for the pastors. We should actually be organizing demos in every part of the world. Wherever Zimbabweans are, we should be voicing up our opinions. We should be mobilizing people so that we get in the streets of Washington, D.C., we get in the streets of Soweto, get in the streets of Johannesburg, everywhere, in Lusaka. Why are we not demonstrating in Zambia, where we have such a positive and encouraging government? Why are we not having protests there? We must be having protests everywhere so that we just let the world know that we are against what is about to happen in Zimbabwe. And again, champions, let us support the pastors. If you have something that you have, get hold of the pastors, get hold of me, get hold of the people in Change Radio who direct you to the rightful people where you can channel your support so that at least they have the resources that they need to keep going. There is no struggle, there is no revolution that is ever waged without a support of resources. We are the people. We have supported the struggle. We supported the elections and many programs that have happened in Zimbabwe. Let's support the pastors so that they do whatever they can do. This is our struggle. So as we round up Change Radio, I'm sure you can give the speakers that are here a few minutes to say their last words, and then we end up with Honorable Passion.
Thank you so much, Member Shoshe. We have two new speakers, Maura Roberts and Rev Rev Mnashe is the chairman for CBNF, director Roxco, printers and what. And Maura Roberts, an international entrepreneur dealing in agriculture and manufacturing, including logistics. So we start with Maura Robert, then we go to Rev Mnashe, then we go to Maigwaze, we go to Sbu, then yeah, in that order. We have to close, I think, on top of the hour, so we have to be quick now so that we can go and rest. Over to you, Maura Robert.
Okay, thank you. I hope you can hear me. Okay, thank you very much. And I say greetings to you all of you good people of Zimbabwe, my very good friends. We always meet with a group of Zimbabweans somewhere on Twitter every day at 6 UK time to pray. And I have not forgotten your country. And you know, I've been afraid of this country for a long time now. And I want to do, I'm so saddened by what is taking place in Zimbabwe right now. And my big question comes to my disease. Where are the young people in Zimbabwe? Where are you, the youth of Zimbabwe? But I'm talking of inside Zimbabwe now. Because you can see what is happening. I'm in Switzerland. That's where my company headquarters is. But I'm from Kenya. And you can see what is taking place in my country, Kenya. The Gen Z, these children who are between 17 and 23, 24 there, they have taken over the whole country, including in the president's home background, there in Eldoret. They have taken the whole country now. And the thing is this, it's not about even disputing about the election or disputing about the President Ruto, no. It's because of finance bill that is before the parliament now. Because our process of making a finance bill for the next year starting ending in June and starting in July is different from most of the African countries. We first of all collect views and this, and then the government say they want to take these taxes and this and this. So the role of the Minister for Finance is just ceremonial. It is the parliament that gives the nod, yes or no. If they say no, that we have to start afresh. Now this bill that is before parliament now, it has gone through the second reading and it has won. And we have, the youth have won all those MPs. So we have 360 MP in Kenya parliament. The 204 who voted yes, they have been told they should kiss parliament goodbye. Come 2027, when we have in the next election, we are not voting, the people are not voting them back. And another thing, they have gone a step further, the youth. They have said that any MP, whether male or female, who owns a business, transport business, has a night club, has a sports betting company, has a farm, has a factory, we should all boycott their produce so that they will suffer the consequences of not caring about the people. Because what the president is now doing is to tell the MPs and buy them and let them to pass that bill. And it is we, the people who voted for MP, who are supposed to tell them what to do because they came to us. Even if you are voted by the president's party, it is me as a voter who voted you to parliament. So you should consult me first before you act in the parliament. So where are the youth in Harare, in Bulawayo, in Matebe? Where are the youth in Zimbabwe? Why can they organize such a movement? The one we are seeing in Kenya right now. The country has been brought to a standstill. And they are saying that they are not going to relent until the whole of this finance bill is either thrown out or even Ruto gets out of office before 2027. Where are the youth of Zimbabwe? That's the question that have been going through my mind since this protest started in Kenya. So let's fight. Let the youth of Zimbabweans wake up. These days is what like those days of 80s when we didn't have Twitter, we didn't have social media. Nowadays they have Twitter. Those people, those youth in Nairobi, in other towns, it was just a matter of hours. They tweet to each other, they Facebook each other, we meet on this place. And within minutes, they are all there. And everything that is happening, it is being recorded. If a police officer misbehaves, everything is captured and the whole evidence is put for the world to see. So even police officers are fearing even to shoot people, although to have died. But that's a very low number compared to what if we didn't have social media, where Moi, the kind of dictator, and other president, they used to kill people in their tents. But nowadays, the police officer has to very, very be careful on what he's doing. And those two people have been killed, the two police officers, next week they are in court. You see, nowadays we have everything. These gadgets, you see smartphone, these are that we are now using here to communicate with each other, is a very, very powerful tool to whoever one knows what he's doing. Let's see people wake up. This is a country that's highly blessed by God. Me, I'm one of those people who have really started in Zimbabwe and who are dying to come and bring my daughters there. But now, and I'm Monagago, the only people who are now investing in Zimbabwe, those are not investors. Those are crooks and hyenas who are connected to ZANU PF. No, we don't have investors now in Zambia because capital fears uncertainty and unpredictability, and where the rule of law doesn't exist. How do I manage to get ordered by the elite that you put these people in jail? I rule about their body next week. How do you do that? There's no rule of law in Zimbabwe. People are suffering. And as you see, they are even sick. I watch them coming out of that prison van. You see, when some cannot even walk. Now, and you wonder, don't people have heart? Don't people see that one day they are going to leave this world? Mugabe was there. Where is he today now? Why don't we treat each other knowing that God has given us a few days to be in this world and nobody knows the day of his departure? So let's fight and let's keep on fighting. I was in Zimbabwe, in Zambia. I was in the thing that, because I have investment there, I supported HH, Akaida Ichilema. And there's a speaker I have said here, Edgar Lungu had tried to play that tricks. And if you could see the difference, HH beat Lungu by over 1 million votes. Because Lungu got 1 point something and Akaida Ichilema got 2.3. Over 1 million votes. Akaida Ichilema had beaten Lungu. And Lungu wanted to bring his dirty tricks. And people are saying, no, enough is enough. If he is trying to bring his dirty tricks, we will go on the street. And that is when the advisors of Uru or Digalungu told him, no, it's enough. Just hand over power peacefully. And that's why you see, because exactly where Rugu was taking Zambia is where Mnangagwa now has taken Zambia today. So my prayer is this for the youth people of Zimbabwe, particularly the young one. Nobody is coming from outside to come and fight for you. You have to fight for yourself. I can guarantee you that. See what is happening in Kenya. Young people, they have told their parents who are in their 40, 50, you stay at home. Stay at home. We are going to show this government who we are. Those who are going to die, let them die. But those who are going to live, because these people who are below 30, those are people who are now marrying. Those are people who are raising children. Those are people who have families. And this debt that Mnangagwa is borrowing and selling properties, it is the children of these people who are Gen Z, who are in their 20s, who are going to suffer, who are going to pay those debts. So why are they sleeping? So let them wake up, and you people, those who are in their 40s or even their 35, 40, 50s, just give them support. And when we do that, when we join together, I'm very sure that we are going to win this war. We cannot allow another 1-2 years ZANU PF to continue in power. Otherwise, come the next general election, there will be nothing in Zimbabwe left. The country will be rotten, everything will have gone to the dogs, and to repair this country will be very difficult. So let's keep the fight, knowing that when God is on our side, definitely we are going to win. Simply because we are now going to close soon. Let me leave it there, and thank you for the space, and I hope we meet next time. God bless you all.
Wow, thank you very much, my brother. It's always good to have brothers that come in solidarity like that, and we do learn a lot from you Kenyans, it's powerful that you're coming to our space and giving us encouragement. Please keep coming. We want to always hear from you. Kenyans are a big inspiration. I'm seeing Reverend Munashe here. Who is one person who has also said that he wants to help the pastors. Reverend Munashe, thank you that you are here, you've joined. Please go ahead.
Good evening. Here in South Africa, it's evening. How is everybody? I will just go quickly to my issue. Firstly, before I do the works of philanthropy, allow me to throw a challenge. I have thrown this challenge to a lot of spaces. I am one man who believes in hard work, who believes in good strategies, who also believes in entrepreneurship. So in short, as a leader of Citizens Business Networking Forum, I don't mind pledging our support from an organizational point of view as a network of businessmen. Whenever resources are needed To me, I feel that's my desk. To me, I feel that's a challenge. That's the angle I can come in the struggle for change in our nation. And as a pastor as well, I believe and I feel a challenge that we are praying, but we're not praying enough. We are doing something, but we're not doing enough. We need to stretch our wings a little bit more, a little bit further. We need to push more than what we are doing, prayer-wise and resources-wise. So generally, that's all what I need to say. And lastly, as far as I believe, like I've said, I'm one man who believes in hard work. I don't know whether in the opposition movements and parties, do we really lack entrepreneurs or do we really lack strategists? I really don't know. I'm still researching about it, but I'm confused because these crooks from the ruling party, what they do is very simple. They don't believe in hard work. They believe in stealing a lot. They just steal and sponsor chaos. They steal and sponsor rigging. They steal and sponsor their campaigns. What is the opposition doing? We talk much, but we're not acting much. But I feel encouraged as of now. I see a lot of organizations are coming up. I see even pastors are saying, let's take action. I'm a pastor as well. I'm ready to take action. They might have swallowed one pastor from us, that pastor from Abuku. They might swallow one more. I don't mind joining the queue. If they want to swallow me, let them swallow me again. I'll know. Even my family knows that, hey, they do have been swallowed for a just cause. They do have been swallowed for a patriotic cause. So anyway, roughly that's all from my side. But in conclusion, I throw a challenge that let's run projects. Like myself, I stay in South Africa. Let's run projects even diaspora. Let's bank money. Let's keep resources so that when the day arises or arrives, be it in a month, 2 months, a year, 2 years, or whenever the opportunity arises and resources are needed, let's not beg for resources to liberate a nation. Let's not beg for resources to push out this regime, because this regime steals to remain in power. So what are we going to do? Let's have projects. Let's run good projects, good businesses. Let's multiply money. Let's bank it. Let's keep the money. Whenever resources are needed, we throw them in the basket. Anyway, from my desk, as the chairperson of CBNF, Citizens Business Networking Forum, I'm prepared to throw in, be it flyers to the campaigns, especially from our pastor, be it 10,000, if he needs 10,000, if he needs 50,000, even if he needs 100,000 flyers, I can throw them on the desk for him. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Reverend. I know you're going to do more. I'll give you a call tomorrow, and then we'll go on a conference call, and you get to speak to the pastors, your fellow pastors. I thank you always for your generosity and for what you've done in the struggle. May God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bless you.
You can go to the next speaker, change radio.
The next speaker was Sbu. Sbu in brief, before we go back to our guest.
Okay. Thank you once again. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I just want to play in conclusion with the Zimbabwean citizens to say to you all leaders that we are having here in this platform at the present moment, please engage with other leaders to say and give the word of command to those who are behind you to say, guys, you know what? Because I myself, I want to play a scenario whereby we protect whoever is a leader at the present moment in Zimbabwe.
We need to protect those who have been too vocal in Zimbabwe, to run away from what happened to our Senator Jameson Timber. So we need to protect each other. Let's use fresh blood. Let's not push an agenda of saying, as Sibusiso Ndlovu, then if I'm the initiator of Zimbabweans, let's unite and fix Zimbabwe. If I'm the initiator there, then I will be pushing it for myself. We don't want that kind of leadership. We need the people who are doing things for the citizens, and make sure that we don't push for a position, but we push to liberate the country. The Zimbabweans, then they will be having a free platform to choose the leaders that they want. When the time is now, for now, we can't talk about any leadership. We can't talk about any position. We only have to talk about, let's come together, let's coordinate each other. We rather work with coordinators so that we bring Zimbabweans together, protecting our candidates, protecting our leaders, and make sure that when ZANU-PF, they will be trying to say, no, Pasho is the one who's behind this. Sorry, my honorable, to call you Pasho. It's just I get emotional usually when I'm having a subject of what the problems that we're facing in our country. If they will say no, maybe Pasho is the one who's behind this this uprising, then they will find that Pasho is not even affiliating with that organization, because we will be operating in a very, very strategical way to make sure that whenever they raise their heads, we'll be behind, we'll be beyond their we'll be beyond themselves. So let's make sure that whatever that we're gonna be doing from today, my leaders, let's bring all the coordinators together. Let's coordinate each other. Let's share the message to each and everyone who is a youth in Zimbabwe, who is a parent in Zimbabwe, who is a soldier, who is a police officer. Let's tell them that we are not fighting, we are not rebels, we only want to liberate ourselves. So when you see us in the streets, please don't fight with us. I just want to share this again with you before I go. I close my mic. In Zimbabwe, my leaders, I think we all agree on this. ZANU-PF, their strategy, they only have two strategies. When people are demonstrating, they shut down the network so that they can release the soldiers from the camps. When they shut down the network, it's because of they will be trying to make sure that nothing will be broadcasted from the journalists' desk. So what we want to do now is that, because of now they are preparing to broadcast the summit. No ways that 2 days prior to that summit date they can tamper around with network, because all the BCC broadcasting companies, ENCA, SABC from South Africa, all other international broadcasting, they will be there preparing to broadcast that summit. So how then are they going to arrest the journalists? No ways, they can't tamper around with the international journalists. They can't do that. So now for them to, because of these international journalists, they will be vigilant enough to cover up on our side. Then what are we going to do? We are going to make sure that our journalists, they are protected. We use the international right. Then for them to release the soldiers from the camps, I'm not going to hide anything with this information, because Mnangagwa must know that we are coming after him, because there is nothing that is doing in that office with his cabinet. Right. So for him to release the soldiers from the camps during the presence of international editors, those international journalists, and the visitors that will be there to attend summit, he can't release the soldiers from the automatically ask him that, are you turning against? Who are you fighting against? Because you are saying people, they voted for you. So no way that they are going to sit the summit while the citizens are in the streets. They can't. They will attend our issues first before anything else. So this is what I'm forwarding to you, citizens, that all the strategies, all the plans are in place. The only thing, and now Mnangagwa, you left with only one option. Either you choose to release the soldiers to squash all citizens, like what he did in Matebeleland during Kukurahundi, or he is going to vacate the offices with his cabinet. Because immediately he releases the soldiers, no chairmanship that will go to in his desk in Zimbabwe. No ways. they will attend our concerns as citizens who will be concerned about the problems that we are facing in Zimbabwe. This is what I'm forwarding to you, all Zimbabweans. Let's come together. Let's join hands together. Let's understand that alone you can't make it. You might be having a lot of money, but without human resources, it can't be successful. Even if you have human resources, without the support of financially, you can't make it. So we need to conject everything together and make sure that we come together as Zimbabweans and make sure that we protect our candidates. I can refer to Reverend Munashe that he is also the one we have been printing the flyers from the initiative that we are going with. I applaud the hands on him, and I can say that no, with this man, nothing will fail. We always make sure that he's protecting each and everything. He makes sure that he communicates. So Rev Munashe, I know him in person. I have been going to the meetings with other political leaders here in South Africa, with him together and making it as a reverend, as a man of God. So I always bring him to say, no, let's go together. Wherever the presence of the man of God is, everything will be successful. So on the Reverend Munashe, I even know where his offices are. So on the side of the flyers, whatever that he said, he is going to do it. That one I'm sure. Now we have printed almost 8,000 flyers. We have printed 5,000 flyers before. So there is a lot of things that are taking place at the present moment from our desk, and make sure that we are trying to spread the message. Now that's why we are getting in the Twitter spaces. I thank you, the hosts. I thank you, the radio. I forget what are the ends name there. But the hosts, we thank you for all these spaces to make sure that we communicate with other honorables and leaders that we are having in Zimbabwe. I close my mind.
Thank you very much, my brother, and all the other champions that are in South Africa that are also running a program, bring change to Zimbabwe. Everything helps. All the little things that all the people are doing, I always say they are going to come together one day, and freedom shall be delivered to the people of Zimbabwe. Thank you for that. Is it Champion Patricia?
No, there is Dr. Ranga. I think Dr. Ranga, you can take over and give back to our guest so that we can get his closing remarks and close the space. Over to you, Dr.
Thank you, my brother at Change Radio. As always, this has been a great space. We have had a great time, and thank you, Honorable, for taking this time. And we have learned a lot today. We always learn something. And thank you, everyone who has shown up on the space today, whether you spoke, whether you were just there listening, and whether you retweeted the space so that as many Zimbabweans can hear what is going on. And thank you for the special guests. We have guests from Kenya and everywhere else. See what happens. Our reverends, thank you. Thank you, my brother-in-law, and everyone who has been here. So we'll give this opportunity to our Honorable Swanda. We couldn't have Honorable Gumbo because of logistical challenges, networks and other things. This is Zimbabwe, unfortunately. But hey, we have to soldier on. So we'll give this opportunity to our Honorable Basho for, to give his parting shots and anything he wants to say to young people in Zimbabwe. And also there's a last question, as always. The question is there a question that we haven't asked that you would like to answer? This will be an opportunity to answer it, Honorable Swanda.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. Allow me to say thank you to the entire team here, Change Radio, the fellow speakers, the pastors, and everyone who has been asking questions. Thank you so much. We really appreciate to have such a platform. I'm not going to be so long, but what I can tell the people is that let's join and jump into the freedom train. The train is moving. It's not yet full. Let's all come in place. Let's all join. Let's all ensure that we support every effort. Right now, the pastors are calling for a demonstration. Let us support them and ensure that we free our people. I can assure you, change is coming, and as it stands, our best foot forward is President Chamisa. So let's make sure that we all come together, we all support and ensure that we free our country. Otherwise, thank you so much.
Thank you. Back to you,
Honorable. We appreciate the time that you gave us today. I know you were traveling, but you still had time to sit for more than 2 hours and speak to the citizens. That's a hallmark of a good leader, a leader who speaks to his people, makes himself available to the people. We appreciate you for that. And as we finish, as we round up, I also want to thank some citizens that are here that contributed to the funds that we're collecting. I know I can see some that were here. We lost a journalist, a very good journalist, one of the veterans in the field, Lucy Yassin. She was working for VOA as a contractor for a number of years, and she also worked for other regional news medias and also media houses in Zimbabwe. She passed on Tuesday, and she was buried yesterday. You know, the story of Lucy, it just breaks my heart. It speaks to what is happening in Zimbabwe. She was in hospital for only a few days. She needed $6,500 for her to be operated on. And we're trying to run around to raise that money. Unfortunately, we couldn't. And I heard on Tuesday that she passed away, and she was buried yesterday in Harare. Lucy was one of those journalists that stood with the people, that supported the struggle. She even helped us set up Change Radio. We consulted her for free. She never charged us anything. As some that we were approaching were doing, they would be asking for money. Lucy came in and she gave us all the information, all the advice. She even helped us to recruit one of the journalists that we were working with in Harare. That was the nature and the pedigree of Lucy. And now she is gone. We've lost one of us, one of the unknown and unsung heroes and unsung freedom fighters who stood with the movement from the days of Morgan Trangirai to now with Advocate Nelson Chamisa. And I want to say to her that rest in peace, champion. We are going to finish the struggle that you were very part of. And to those that contributed, Chema, I want to thank you and God bless you. Back to you, Change Radio.
Thank you, Mambo Sose, for that, those remarks. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to our space. This was an interesting event. We spoke to Honorable Pashos Banda. He mentioned a lot of things that include supporting the initiative by the churches to say, let's hold those who say they are in power to account of what they claim to be, who they claim to be. So thank you so much, Honorable. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to this space. My name is Leo, and I've been holding on the host is under Change Radio. Thank you so much for coming. We are closing now. Have a good night. Have a good day. Have a good morning. Bye.